Okay, it's working. Nice. That took me only about a dozen tries to get this to work. Phew. Anyway, welcome to the Friday video. So the posts are doing good. Um, a couple of comments stood out as being worthy of some response. So here we go. The first one was a lot of people mentioned, the idea of having goodwill towards someone who's actually been hurtful to you or been harmful to us. And, how about that? Well, the thing is here to remember that really, in a very real way, what's happening is we're changing how that hurtful behavior or that unexpected event plays out in our hearts. Okay, so we're really shifting our own feeling and our own response and what it means to us when we choose to have goodwill. And this is important because the stories that we tell ourselves are the filters through which we experience our lives. So if we have a story running that talks about how terrible that person was and how much they deserve to die or whatever, maybe justifiable from some points of view, but in fact, in our own heart, in our own the heart and mind that we walk around in our lives with, it's more clenched and more aggressive and more stressful and more acidic, so to speak. So from purely just that point of view, it's healthier for us to have an attitude of goodwill and spaciousness, even when people are being foolish. It doesn't mean that therefore they can do whatever they want without any kind of consequence. I'm certainly not saying that. But in terms of the imprint on our psyche, it's different. Okay. So that's an important point there. And it also applies to the creative process. You have to, if you're generating divergent ideas about how to handle a situation, if you immediately judge and slam the ideas that are coming to you, that's teaching you that it's not okay to come up with lots of ideas. So you're going to be less likely to do that. Every time you come up with some possible idea and then you slam it right away down, no, 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 that's teaching yourself not to think about possible options, you see. So if we have to come up with a business solution for a situation, the best thing is actually to have unconditional positive regard and goodwill for all ideas on the table. As crazy as they may seem, as outlandish or irrelevant, stay open to all the possibilities because we don't really know yet, right? And remember, there's the convergent thinking that's going to happen in the next phase of the process where we're actually going to whittle things down. So goodwill to all ideas, to all people. And then what are we actually going to do? That happens next. Fine. Some people, when we talked about are you a convergent or divergent thinker, a lot of people said both. Some people identified clearly as one or the other. What studies show is that most people lean more into creative or convergent thinking or divergent thinking, but that in fact, everybody can do both. Most people can do both. And that in fact it's situational, right? And it's developable. So you can train yourself to be more divergent, abled, and to be more convergent abled in your thinking. You can by becoming aware of it and practicing it, you can get good at it. So yeah, in a different situation, you'll be able to draw upon one or other or both of those kinds of thinking to help you move through whatever it is that needs moving through. See? Good. A few comments also. It's important for me at this point to hold up the fact that I'm expecting that you're, one, keeping in touch with the earlier practices, okay? A number of people mentioned that, I stopped doing the sitting practice because we started doing walking practice or whatever, mindful eating is easier access for me, and that's all fine. But I would really hope that you're keeping track of all the different practices that we've done and you're continuing to engage in them, okay, so that this starts to show up as kind of a cumulative rolling ball of snow that gets more and more mass as it goes, okay? So you want to keep in touch with the sitting practice, with the walking practice, with the mindful eating, all that stuff. Just to say it, just to reaffirm it. Many of you are already doing that, but I'm just holding up again. It's important. And also with some of the posts, I would really like to see them shift from being more just strictly personal reflection, what happened in my life this week, which is nice to know about and I care about and matters, to including, okay, this is what happened in my life this week, and this is how the practice of mindfulness and creativity relates to what happened. Some people are just, I think, a little bit losing focus, and I'm getting a nice, this is what happened in life, but I'm not really hearing much about how the content of this class is actually impacted or showing up in that. And of course, for the purposes of this class, that's the center target. Okay, so don't forget to, in your weekend Celio posts, talk about the content of the class and how it's affected your life in this past week and how your week of practice has been. Boom. Okay, good. And then some people had trouble getting the video thing to work. So it turns out that you need to have like a YouTube account is the ideal, and then you can, upload the thing to YouTube. You can make it private so that only people with the link can see it or something like that, and then you can post that onto the discussion board. That is the way I do this thing. So right now I'm recording to a YouTube clip, and then it'll post on the board like that. And they're not public unless I make them that way. So only people that have the link can actually see it. You won't search it and find it. So, and then some people said, I really don't feel comfortable posting a video. You totally don't have to. It's an option. It's not a requirement. I like it because I like to see you and see a little bit more of who you are and stuff. It's one of the odd things for me in this class that I don't actually get to see you directly, and I would kind of like to, but it's certainly not a requirement, and I certainly understand hesitations about putting oneself on video, even though I do it all the time, and I'm very public, but that's me, so that's fine. So that's it. So for this week's Celio post, again, remember to put, week 10 or whatever it is up on the top, and I'm looking for a good solid review of the week in terms of your practice, and you can refer to the sitting, the walking, the eating, or any of the other things we've talked about. And I'd like to know if the creativity, convergent and divergent thinking, if that showed up for you at all during the week. If so, how? That kind of stuff would be fantastic to hear. Okay? Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the weekend. Hopefully spring will actually arrive in earnest sometime soon. Wouldn't that be nice?